Good evening, good afternoon for us folks. Thank you all for being here. I have an interesting topic to talk to you about tonight. Um, and yeah, the title may have been a little clickbaity, but it's not like we're going to be off topic here. So, does God want you to automate your trading? For those who have been watching lately, you know that I like to use the Bible as the trading manual, the world's best trading manual. In fact, well, depending on your translation. But I got to thinking the other day about a verse that I've heard many times and a lot lately when it comes to business, and especially in our busy modern world, which comes from Ephesians chapter 5. And yes, this is absolutely trading related. Ephesians 5:15 and 16 says, "See then that you walk circumspectly," which means diligently. What else does circumspectly mean? Circumspectly means diligently, perfect, accurately. "See then that you walk circumspectly, diligently, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." Well, the days are evil. Days have been evil, apparently, for the last 2,000 years. And by the way, he also mentions this in Colossians. Colossians 4, he talks about redeeming the time as well. And redeeming the time means to buy back your time. And that's kind of what we're doing in trading in general. We are trying to buy back our time with our families. We're trying to find a way to set our families free financially without working 57 hours a day. I mean, we all are willing, especially those of us who share the responsibility of the family. We're all willing to work and do whatever it takes. I mean, we'll take 5 jobs, whatever. We'll cut 1,000 heads of hair during one day, just walk them in and be done with it. But we don't necessarily want to be a workaholic and work all the time and have the freedom and not the family. They go together. So Travis says, exactly. It's all about time freedom for me, the ability to have more than enough. Absolutely. I love Myron Golden's metaphor of we live on Mount Just Enough, and across the valley is Mount More Than Enough. But down in the valley is the valley of not enough. So we have to go through that valley to get to the other side of more than enough. But where we are is just enough. But we all want them more. And we think, well, hey, trading is going to provide for that. However, if we are always glued to the charts, if we are glued to the charts, that too can become slavery. Absolutely. I mean, the idea is to have this be not a second job, but to have this be operating in the background. One of the, I guess, the white whales, for those of you who've read Moby Dick, which I have not. I tried. I got to the first 2 pages. And I'm like, why is this considered class? Anyway, one of the aspirations that we have is passive income. And well, I use trading as passive income. That way I can be sitting with my family and eating and I'm earning in the meantime. And that is true. But only if you set it up appropriately. And also, if you don't let it start to slowly take over your life. So I was thinking the other day, as I am exploring options on automated trading systems, that they are actually, and I'm going to say something here, and I'm going to say something, and it's going to be controversial, which is this. Feel free to argue with me. Feel free to call me out on this. I think that every single trader should automate their trading system. I'm going to say that again. I think every single trader should have an automated version of their trading system. Now, having said that, one of the hallmarks of the family freedom trading course that we teach is learning how to do it yourself. back when I was in landscape architecture school, back in 19, way back then, it was still wasn't that far enough ago that we weren't using computer. We were using CAD, AutoCAD at the time. And every single one of us in school knew that our careers would be centered around AutoCAD, drawing on the computer. And yet, they still forced us to learn how to draw with pen and ink because it's a foundational element. So yes, you should still obviously know your system manually in and out, but having an automated trading system gives you several benefits. The first of which is the unintended consequence of creating the system is the greatest benefit of creating the system. What in the world did I just say? So when you begin the task of saying, okay, I'm going to take this system out of my head, and for a lot of people, it's not even in your head, it's in your gut. Again, one of the most difficult portions of our trading course is talking to people who have a feel for what they want to do. They know what their system should look like, and they can look at a chart. And I've talked to so many people who can say, I can look at a chart and I can, instantly read it. I know what's going on. I know what to do. As we are staring at charts, as we're going through trading, we are developing our eyes and our brain are writing an algorithm in our heads such that when we see a chart, we can just instantly know, all right, I'm doing this and doing this and I'm doing this. The hard part for me as the coach and helping someone create a system, the hard part is pulling that out of them. Okay, yeah, you see, prime example. One of our students was saying, hey, she wants to get in when prices cross the moving average and when it pulls back, but she doesn't want it to have gone too far, or she doesn't want it to be too close. Like, okay, that's fantastic. You know what you mean by too far. I think I know what you mean by too far. Well, what do you mean by too far, right? So the process of taking this intuitive system that's in our brains, in our guts, and converting it into ones and zeros so that a computer can automate it. That process, going through that process is worth all of the heartache that you go through. I'm going to stick a pin right there and switch to confession time, talking about heartache, headache. So I am currently exploring the breadth and depth of 2 different AI programs in an effort to get them to create an algorithm for me. So we all know ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is very intuitive. Scary how intuitive ChatGPT can be. We've heard all kinds of stories and news about people that are falling in love with ChatGPT, not like, hey, I love it because it's a great tool, but like literally romantically involved with it. But it does a mediocre job at best of writing code. It kind of hallucinates from time to time. Anyway, there's another one out there, and even better when it comes to code writing. It's called Bolt, like the kids' cartoon movie. All right, the little dog. Bolt, BOLT.new. It's free to use. It's a paid version, obviously. And it is fantastic at coding, but it's an idiot. Let me say it's an idiot. It has no ability whatsoever to be intuitive. So what I've spent today doing, that's why I have a headache, is being the human bridge between these two. Let ChatGPT be the brain, and it'll tell Bolt what to do, and Bolt will write the code so that it doesn't fall apart and going back and forth and back and forth. And anyway, it is a pain. It's a headache. But at the end of the day, I've learned so much about my system to the point that spending 6 hours arguing with an inanimate object, arguing with 2 inanimate objects, and somehow losing the argument, just to get them to write code for me, for my system. We'll do a thing. Okay, fine. I'm moving the goalpost back. You can't do that. All right, we're doing. Okay, fine. You can't do that. I've been all day long. I have spent today in the process of shrinking and whittling away. There's an analogy. There's a story that Leonardo da Vinci or Donatello, it was one of the Ninja Turtles, was talking about a block of marble, and he can see the angel within it. And all he has to do is just remove the chips that aren't there. So I can see where this system of mine needs to go, and I can see where these two AIs are just tripping over themselves, not understanding. So I've just been pulling pieces off of it. It's like, all right, well, it's still working. And so all afternoon, I'm like, all right, well, I've got these 7 rules, 6 rules, whatever it is, 2 indicators and 5 rules. It doesn't work. Okay, well, let me take this one out. And then look at it. You know what? This thing still works. So I've been, all afternoon long, I have been scaling back this system of mine. I've been trading for 3 years just to get it to a form that ChatGPT and Bolt can code. And I'm finding that as I pare back, as I peel away these layers, it's still working, and it's actually making more sense. And this is what I want everyone to go through. I think that everyone should go through this process. You've got a system and it works. Fantastic. If you bought the system, if you borrowed the system, if you saw the system on YouTube, if you haven't fully internalized it yet, this process of explaining your system to an inanimate object like ChatGPT and having it understand forces you to think through your system so much more than you ever would have on your own. And then at the end of it, here's the other unintended consequence. Even if you never plan on using this to trade with, you can take this system now, and at the click of a button, you can test it. One of the things I'm doing I've got like 3 or 4 strategies, right? And one of the strategies I have, in conjunction with the developer, we have created a framework to, on a quarterly basis, continually test and optimize to make sure it's not stagnating, to make sure it is being flexible with market conditions. That is absolutely wisdom that is found in the Bible. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. We talked about that last week on, is your strategy dead? Well, it might not be dead. It might just be the wrong season for it. But if we know that, and we know, okay, we're coming into a season where it doesn't work, well, let's see if we can make those adjustments for this upcoming season. And those are the kind of things you can do so much more efficiently when it is automated. And that is what I'm talking about, buying back your time, so that all of these little areas that trading takes up in our life can take over our life. And if we can say, all right, well, I would normally spend 2 weeks back testing or 2 weeks developing, but if I can do this and this and this and grab those tools, now it's only taking me 2 days. I've just gained back time that I can spend with my family. And then here is the kicker. Here's the most important aspect of this. If you have a system like mine, I trade on the daily chart, 15 minutes a day at the end of every day. Up until now, there's been no reason to automate the thing because it would take longer to automate than it would to just do it. However, what happens when I go on a cruise? Going on a cruise in 10 days. Yeah, 10 days. And one of the things about being on a cruise, you lose track of time. I still want my trades to happen. I still want my trading to work, but I don't want to take time away from my family to do that. So the third, and this one was probably not an unintended consequence, but the third consequence of doing this process is that you have a backup trader for you so that you can redeem your time. You spent your money, probably best scenario, hiring an actual human being coder, spent your money, you buy back, right? So you spend money to buy time. That's all life is exchanging money and time. In this case, we're exchanging some money to buy back some time in the form of getting this algorithm to trade for us. So now when I go on a cruise, I can turn it on. And sure, I still need to monitor the thing, but I don't have to be tied to my computer at that specific time of day. It can do what it's going to do during the course of a day. And then I can check in on it at whatever time that I need to. I'm more flexible. The last one is this. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, we talked about stagnating as a trader. And I think that once you do this and once you get the process and the framework and the experience of, okay, I've built a system and now I've learned how to automate the thing, you do it again and again and again. Once you start down that road, you're going to start seeing ideas out there and instantly, relatively quickly, turning them into a fully functional algorithm that maybe you sit on the shelf forever. Maybe you trade it. Maybe you come back to, you're going to grow as a trader by doing this. It's just, I redeeming the time because the days are evil. There's nothing evil in trading, but we can absolutely redeem our time as a trader, which we're already trading to redeem time with our family. So we can compound that. So okay, I'm going to spend my extra time or my extra money hiring a coder to do this thing for me. And now, yes, I'm earning money trading, which is helping set my family free. But now I can earn money while I'm with my family. We can be setting ourselves financially free while I'm out there on a cruise ship or while I'm at a football game or while I'm doing whatever. And I had the flexibility to go back and forth on this thing. So just another prime example of specific technical questions in this trading world. And absolutely, there are biblical principles that can answer the question, should I do this or not? To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose. And I think that verse encapsulates trading almost more than anything else, apart from long suffering, which is in the fruit of the Spirit. So I wanted to talk about that today. Is God telling you to automate your system? God's telling me to automate my system. I can tell that for a fact. Is he telling you that? I'm telling you that. What's the downside to it? Apart from getting a headache from talking to ChatGPT or spending, $200 with a coder from the other side of the planet, I don't see a downside to it. So take that for what it's worth, guys. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you all next time.